Salut tout le monde, bienvenue sur ma chaîne. C'est la seule et unique votre fil, le cartoon hotspot. You know what? One day I might record an entire video in French. Why not? But that day isn't today. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the one and only, your girl, the cartoon hotspot. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to the episode, Wreckless Driver. Apparently it's a good one because I logged into Twitter this morning and saw all the reactions to it. Haven't seen any spoilers whatsoever. I'm good. I'm coming into this episode very much blind. But from the general consensus, I'm guessing it's another banger from Miraculous Season 6. So I'm excited. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is G and I like to make video essays, reaction videos, analysis videos on the various media that I enjoy, and I like to analyze and dissect them from a writer's perspective. Such media include Miraculous Ladybug, Winx Club, The Legend of Korra, Amphibia, Carmen Sandiego, and so much more. And if that's something that you're interested in, hey, why don't you subscribe to my channel? It's a really fun time around here. Give this video a thumbs up and click that bell button for post notifications. But I have one more thing. I always have one more thing. I recently launched memberships. Now, what are memberships, you might ask? YouTube memberships allow viewers like yourself to gain access to exclusive perks that aren't available to the general audience. Now, I have three tiers in my memberships. Level 1 is the Hotspotter Insider, whereby you can receive loyalty badges, emojis, member-only live chats, and priority reply to comments, and member-only polls. So if I put up a poll, you guys can exclusively vote on whatever video you want to see next, and that will be a priority. The second level is a Prime Hotspotter level, and you guys receive the perks from the previous level, but extra perks include photos and status updates. So whenever I'm recording a video or a video essay, you guys will literally receive the behind the scenes of that and where I am in terms of progress on uploading this video, member only chat rooms, and member only shorts. I make a lot of shorts, but I never post them. So you guys will literally receive exclusive access to those shorts. And the final level, the third level, is Ultimate Hotspotter. Again, it includes perks from the previous two levels, but extra perks include member shoutouts, connecting on social media, member only live streams, because a couple of you have mentioned that you missed my live stream, so I might as well bring those back, and early access to new videos, behind the scenes, etc. So yeah, those are my memberships. If you're interested in joining, I'll post a link in the comment section and in my description box for you to join. And if you don't want to join, that's also cool as well. Any support is great from you guys. But enough about memberships. Let's get into the reaction video. Vesperia is so goated. You know who was able to stop a train? Vesperia. Can Queen Bee Stan say the same? I'm being so messy right now. I mean, so messy. But can Queen Bee Stan say the same? I don't think so. Okay. So, Auglay was just saved from a train that was about to crash and kill them all. And that's how she reacted, and Ladybug was really confused. I'm also confused as well.
T'avais peur de Ladybug? Sérieux? Mais oui, je t'assure. C'est bizarre, non? Je lui ai jamais rien fait. N'aie pas peur, Auglay. C'est juste une gentille petite coccinelle.
Okay, first of all, they're always in this garden. Do they not have normal classes anymore? I've yet to see them in an actual classroom this entire season. That aside, so it seems that Auglay is scared of insects. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Je suis comme ça depuis que je me suis fait akumatiser. Au début, j'avais juste peur des papillons parce qu'ils me rappellent l'akuma qui m'a touchée. Maintenant, tu as peur de tous les insectes? Mouches, abeilles, coccinelles. J'ai même peur de la vraie Ladybug. Tout ça, c'est ma faute. Si j'avais récupéré le miraculous du papillon, les gens ne seraient plus traumatisés. T'y es pour rien, Marinette. Tu fais déjà de ton mieux pour libérer les akumatisés et réparer les dégâts qui...
Straight off the bat, I think this episode is going to dive deep into the effects of getting akumatized, or in general just witnessing an akumatization or akuma attack. Which, finally, because I feel like we haven't talked about that in the show at all. It's like the characters in the show have been so, like, nonchalant about it. I've low-key been always wondering, like, getting akumatized or even just witnessing an akuma attack every single day has got to be traumatizing. To the point where maybe you can argue some of the characters are kind of desensitized to it because it's like their everyday life right now. So that's interesting, and apparently Auglay has been akumatized before, but we haven't seen that. And now Marinette is feeling guilty because if she had captured the butterfly miraculous like she said she would, maybe Paris may finally be able to heal. But it's not her fault.
Peut-être, mais les coccinelles magiques ne réparent pas tout.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this episode takes place right after Revelator. Now remember, Revelator was the episode where Alia finds out the truth that Marinette lied to the entire world that Gabriel Agreste is not Monarch and he's in fact a hero. And in turn, she asks for her memory to be wiped because she doesn't want to have to carry that secret, and worse, she doesn't want to have to lie to Adrien. And this episode takes place right after Revelator. So when Marinette says, perhaps Ladybug can't fix everything, there's subtext behind that. Physical damage, yes. But emotional damage, mental damage, no, she can't fix that. And that's also what she said in Revelator as well. I do love how everything is like connecting in each episode. I love how season 6 is just like, you know, planting different seeds in each episode. It may seem insignificant then, but it always ends up being relevant later on. That's low-key me, but without the trauma, because I hate insects. Like, anyone who's been around me in real life would know that I absolutely can't stand insects. Any fly, bee, wasp, whatever, I'm like, get away from me. I hate insects so much. I think it's, I wouldn't say it's trauma, but for lack of a better word, I think it's trauma because like whenever I get bitten by like a mosquito or something else, like it always leaves a mark and it's hard to like get rid of it. That's the trauma surrounding my fear of insects. So I get you, Auglay, I get you. Maybe not on that level, but I certainly do get you on another level.
Je pensais que ça allait mieux, mais c'est en train d'empirer. Demain, je resterai chez moi et je sortirai plus. Là, au moins, j'aurai plus peur. Mais non, surtout pas. On peut trouver une solution. Je pourrais fabriquer une combinaison intégrale anti-insecte. Ou alors, on pourrait trouver une solution plus rationnelle qui aiderait vraiment Aglaé à surmonter sa peur.
Couple things I want to pick out. It seems to me that Auglay has developed agoraphobia, or at least that's what the writers are trying to tell us. Now, what agoraphobia is, for those of you who may not be aware, agoraphobia is anxiety disorder whereby a person deems the environment too unsafe to be in. So people with agoraphobia can't be in public transport or shopping centres or large crowds or queues because they generally have this irrational fear that their environment is unsafe. And they tend to just, you know, stay indoors and have a hard time leaving their house. And obviously staying indoors a little too much can lead to other mental health issues such as depression. And honestly, this makes a lot of sense in the context of Miraculous Ladybug. Imagine just living life normally, right? Just going about your normal day. Then out of the blue, some random butterfly man starts terrorizing, because yes, Gabriel Agreste was literally a terrorist, terrorizing the entire city, causing destruction everywhere. I don't think anyone would be normal after that. Because you never know, like, okay, if I go out, is there going to be an Akuma attack? Am I going to die? Am I going to get injured? Granted, ladybugs, magical ladybugs will repair everything, but the trauma is still there. So I honestly understand Auglay a lot. I'd probably be afraid to step out in Paris. I'd probably leave. Like, the trauma would be too much for me. I'd be like, you know what? Time to pack my bag. I'm out of here.
On the Sprinter.
I'm not getting on the Sprinter.
You coming inside?
Nope, my ride coming. I'm leaving.
Where are you going?
Wherever the wind takes me. I'm not going back in there.
And then what was interesting is that Marinette says, I'll create you a protective suit so that you don't have to be worried about these insects attacking you or whatever. And Alia counters that and says, maybe we should actually create a solution that tackles the root of the problem. And I like that Alia brought that up. because Marinette's solution doesn't actually get to the bottom of whatever the issue is. Instead, Marinette's solution is a coping mechanism. But Alia is saying we need to get to the roots of the problem. It's sort of like, and I'm going to use this allegory, it's sort of like having an infestation, right? You can get rid of as many bugs as you want, but if you don't find where all the bugs are originating from and get rid of that issue, then those bugs are going to keep multiplying and coming up and coming up and coming up. I feel like this conversation has a deeper subtext beneath it, which is something that Miraculous Season 6 has been doing so well lately. Yes, they're talking about Aglaé's like insect fear or whatever, but the whole conversation about like getting to the root of the problem is actually talking about what Marinette has done, lying to Adrien and lying to the entirety of Paris. Marinette lied so that Adrien would not be hurt in finding out that his father was monarch. She lied to protect his feelings, to protect his well-being. But that doesn't get to the issue of the problem. In fact, that actually creates more problems in the long run, which I have mentioned in previous videos over and over again. In Marinette's mind, keeping the truth from Adrien will allow him to be happy, will allow him to grow and be the person that he can now be without Gabriel's presence looming over them. But remember what Alia says in the previous episode Revelator. She says, you don't get to decide what truth Adrien knows. Neither do I. Truth is essential to someone's growth. In other words, like I've mentioned in my Revelator analysis video, sometimes you just have to find out the bitter truth in order to move on with your life and heal in the way you need to heal, or grieve in the way you need to grieve, or grow in the way you need to grow. You get my point, right? So yeah, I really do love how so far the episode has a lot of subtextual dialogue that kind of mirrors the overarching conflict of this season.
Moi, je consulte le psychiatre pour mes troubles du spectre autistique. Le spectre autistique? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Eh bien, ça veut dire que je vois les choses différemment de vous.
Le cerveau neuroatypique apporte un éclairage nouveau sur le monde.
Le problème, c'est que l'environnement est pensé pour les gens neurotypiques. Dans mon cas, par exemple, les retards ou les objets mal rangés ou les endroits nouveaux peuvent me perturber. C'est pourquoi je vois la docteure Psycha chaque jeudi à 18h15. Elle m'aide à surmonter mes difficultés.
Oh, Max, my baby. I love Max so much. So yeah, Max is on the autism spectrum, and I really do love how the writers are being so open and they're providing like space to talk about these sort of things that you wouldn't normally find in your average kids show. And I do love how he also delved into what autism can look like for certain people, and so he has that help to overcome some of these difficulties. And I like how he's so open about it. Like, it's not something to be ashamed of. Oftentimes people treat people on the spectrum in general, they see it as like there's something wrong with you. No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. It's just that you're in a world, as Max said, designed for neurotypical people. Where do I fit in to this?
Ça a l'air tellement nul. Moi, j'irai jamais.
Dommage pour toi, ça peut aussi aider les gens qui sont bêtes et méchants.
Aglaé n'écoute pas ces individus toxiques.
No, she absolutely gagged them. No, Alia said they can never make me hate you. I'm sorry. It's the way they were clowning on people that go to therapy, because there is this stigma about going to therapy. If you casually mention like, yeah, I go to therapy, people might automatically think there's like something wrong with you. Like, no, you don't have to go to therapy if you're deeply traumatized. Like, I would actually encourage a lot of people to go to therapy, even if they're not like traumatized, because there might be some underlying issues that you might not even be aware of. Like, they were clowning and be like, you guys are lame for going to therapy, like therapy sucks, you know, they're trying to aura farm, but they have no aura themselves. And then Alia gags them back and she's like, you actually need the most therapy because you're senseless and you're mean. Maybe it might help you deal with whatever issues you're dealing with. Chopped freaking trio. No, I love Alia so much. Like, that comeback, now that's how you clear a bitch.
Pas ces individus toxiques à la socialisation défaillante.
Mais qu'est-ce que je vais...
Even Max gagged them as well. He said, don't listen to toxic people with failed socialization. No, those are my kids. They're actually my kids. Alia and Max. That's daughter and that's son.
Oula, Alia, Max, Juleka, Mylène. Je ne suis pas sûre de pouvoir recevoir tout le monde. Aglaé est votre seul rendez-vous, docteur. On ne fait que l'accompagner. Tes amis sont venus avec toi. C'est très signifiant, ça, et très gentil de votre part à tous. Si tu es prête, Aglaé, tu peux me suivre.
I love this. I love how they accompanied her, because needing support and admitting that you need help doesn't make you any less brave, and it doesn't make you weak, and it doesn't make you a coward. If anything, taking that step means that you're brave.
Ton père a mentionné un problème avec les papillons? Ça vient du jour où j'ai été acclimatisée. C'était le jour de la rentrée des classes. Ladybug avait annoncé qu'elle avait vaincu le super vilain papillon. Alors je me suis dit que je pouvais à nouveau sortir de chez moi et retourner à l'école. Ça faisait tellement longtemps que je savais même plus comment me comporter avec les gens. Je bafouillais, je tremblais. J'avais l'impression d'être devenue une extraterrestre.
So, Augley has always attended Francois Dupont High School. We just never saw her because when the first akumatization or the first few akumatizations occurred back in season 1, she got so terrified to the point where she just decided to stay home. Valid. Honestly, I wouldn't leave my house either. So valid. But I also like how she spoke about, even though she was safe in her own house, or at least she believed she was safe in her own house, after leaving her house, she dealt with another issue, social anxiety, not knowing how to socialize with people anymore because she'd been on her own for a long period of time.
J'ai voulu suivre le groupe, surtout que j'adorais les papillons et la biodiversité en général. Et puis je me suis dit que c'était fini ces histoires d'acclimatisation, que j'avais plus aucune raison d'avoir peur. J'y arrivais pas. Pourtant, j'avais vraiment envie de les suivre, de faire comme eux, d'être comme eux, mais je pouvais pas. Et puis, c'est là qu'ils sont arrivés.
So Agli really did want to go into the butterfly greenhouse thingy, but trauma is a really sneaky thing because you could think you're over it and then something will trigger you and then it's like you're back at square one.
Je savais pas que tu la voyais aussi, mais pourquoi?
Pour des histoires de famille un peu compliquées, on va dire.
Tu m'en avais jamais parlé?
Oh, c'est une histoire réglée depuis longtemps, j'y pense même plus.
Now you can't just casually drop that without exploring it. So Alia used to go to therapy because of some complicated family issue. We know Alia was a new student at the beginning of season 1. I feel like people forget that. So maybe all those family issues happened before she enrolled in Francois Dupont. I don't know. But now I'm even more interested because I feel like we barely know anything about Alia's family other than the fact that she has 3 sisters and her mom is a chef at the Grand Palais Hotel if she still works there. I hope we find out more about Alia's family.
Tu crois que je pourrais parler au docteur psychiatre de mon père?
Ton père? Tu peux m'en parler à moi, tu sais?
C'est différent d'en parler avec un docteur. C'est une personne extérieure formée pour nous aider.
Je l'aide, moi, je suis son amoureuse quand même.
Alors, disons qu'on est dans un jeu vidéo. Adrien est piégé dans un labyrinthe et il est poursuivi par un fantôme. Tu peux supprimer le fantôme pour aider Adrien de temps en temps. Mais il finit toujours par revenir. Tant qu'Adrien n'aura pas compris pourquoi il ne peut pas affronter le fantôme, il restera coincé dans le labyrinthe. Docteur Psychiatre peut l'aider à trouver la sortie en le guidant depuis l'extérieur.
More subtext. I really like Alia's analogy here because she doesn't even realize that she's quite literally talking about Adrien and Gabriel Agreste and Ladybug. That's insane to me. Alia, the power you hold. She says, let's say Adrien is stuck in a maze and he's being chased by ghosts. The ghost being Gabriel Agreste, or at least the memory of Gabriel Agreste. Marinette could do all she can to fight off the ghosts temporarily, but the ghosts are going to keep coming back. Adrien will not be able to leave that maze unless he has extra help, unless he's given the skills or giving the guidance to face those ghosts head on. Because somebody cannot fight your battles for you. You need to be able to fight them yourself. And that's exactly what Marinette unintentionally has been doing, fighting Adrien's battles, taking on burdens that she shouldn't really be taking on, thinking that she's doing Adrien a favor, but instead she's actually doing him a disservice. And again, we know why she did it. And her intentions were very pure, but just because you have pure intentions doesn't mean the outcomes and the consequences are going to be pure as well. Yes, you're his girlfriend, and yes, you are the closest person to him right now. Yes, he'll always need you, but you shouldn't be the only person he needs. Otherwise, that creates codependency, and codependency in relationships, whether it's friendship, romantic relationships, familiar relationships, whatsoever, codependency in any relationship is very, very unhealthy. It reminds me of this TikTok that I watched where somebody was like, you and your partner are a team, but he's not your savior, or she's not your savior. She's not going to be able to save you all the time because you can't put that amount of pressure on a human being. Human beings are flawed, okay? We have our own battles, you have your own battles. You can't depend on somebody to save you all the time. And Marinette is unintentionally stepping into that savior role in their relationship. Yes, you are a savior as a superhero. Nobody's denying that, but you cannot take on that role as a girlfriend. Otherwise, you're just going to be overwhelmed. At one point, Adrien's going to have to face the truth and he's going to have to face that grief head on. And that doesn't mean he can't have support. It just means he needs to have that autonomy, that authorship.
Ils m'ont dit qu'ils allaient m'aider, qu'ils allaient rentrer avec moi dans la serre. Ils ont fermé la porte. Et je me suis retrouvée toute seule. J'aurais pu ressortir, mais je sais pas pourquoi j'arrivais plus à réfléchir. J'étais complètement bloquée et les papillons volaient vers moi. Et parmi eux, il y avait...
That is so freaking cruel. Oh my gosh. No, that really isn't nice at all.
Des voix bizarres se sont adressées à moi et j'ai tout de suite compris qu'il y avait un nouveau méchant à Paris. Que quelqu'un avait récupéré le miraculous du papillon perdu par Ladybug accepté et je me souviens plus de ce qui vient après, comme pour tous les akumatisés. Mais on m'a raconté et il y a des vidéos sur internet, donc j'ai quand même des images dans la tête.
Quel genre d'image?
J'ai vu des vidéos de moi où on me reconnaît à peine.
I would hate that. Straight up, I'd be so embarrassed if I was like akumatized. Like, that's me losing aura. Because imagine not having any recollection of what you look like or what you were doing when you were akumatized. Then logging onto the internet and seeing you crashing out. I would actually just like... I'm not going to say it, but like... I would actually crash out. And then imagine having to walk into class the next day and people are looking at you because you just got akumatized the previous day. That's so embarrassing. Like...
Je ressemblais à un énorme papillon et j'attaquais les 3 garçons qui s'étaient moqués de moi. On m'a dit que je me faisais appeler Lady Butterfly et que j'enfermais les gens dans des cocons. Et je me suis pas arrêtée aux 3 garçons. Apparemment, je m'en suis prise à tout le monde dans Paris. Oui, mais je pourrais me refaire akumatiser. J'ai tellement peur tout le temps et je sais que ça me rend encore plus vulnérable.
I think I kind of understand now. It's not even the fact that she was akumatized. I think we need to go a bit deeper than this. Because what does it mean to be akumatized? It means that somebody is preying on your emotions and taking advantage of them. You lose complete autonomy over yourself. No, this is so scary. Imagine you're just chilling and you're sad or whatever, and then immediately you just start hearing like voices in your head telling you succumb to the dark side or do this or do that. And then you get overwhelmed by that like power. You don't have any control. Yes, Hawkmoth and Chrysalis, or whatever Lila's villain name is, they lie and trick you and manipulate you that you have control to do whatever you want. You have the control to get revenge. They're lying and manipulating them by saying you have control. When in reality, you don't have control. You're just a pawn in their game.
À cause de Chrono Girl.
Qu'est-ce que je suis censée voir sur cette photo?
Moi!
Mais tu n'es pas sur la photo, Aglaé.
Si, j'y suis! Elle m'a fait disparaître! En disparaissant, j'avais plus aucune notion du temps. Je savais pas si ça durait depuis des secondes ou des mois. J'avais tellement peur de finir par cesser d'exister. De plus jamais revoir mes amis ni ma famille. De plus jamais pouvoir faire les choses que j'avais envie de faire.
Her reasoning for when this all started, right, was Timebreaker, which is all the way back in season 1. Crazy. And she saw herself disappear. My life would flash before my eyes if I were her. So I get her. I really do. And this is going to get dark and very philosophical or whatever. If we knew that we were going to die tomorrow, how would we feel about that? Would we feel like we got to accomplish everything in life? Would we feel like we got to tell everyone that we love them? How would you feel? And I get her because like she didn't know what amount of time was passing, whether it was seconds, minutes, years, but she just literally felt her life like disappearing. That is so scary. If I knew that I was gonna die tomorrow, obviously I'm not gonna die tomorrow, but if I knew that I was gonna die tomorrow, I'd be so freaking depressed because I'd be like, wait, there is so much in life that I want to do that I haven't gotten the chance to do. That is terrifying.
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez dire?
Voici ce que je te propose. Lors de la prochaine séance, on fera un exercice.
Attendez, vous allez pas me guérir aujourd'hui?
Oh, j'ai bien peur que non. La guérison dépend du chemin à parcourir et du véhicule dont on dispose pour avancer. Fais preuve de patience. La thérapie n'est pas une solution magique, cela demande du temps. Je te propose, quand tu te sentiras prête, bien sûr, de retourner ensemble à la serre aux papillons pour que je t'aide à dépasser tes peurs.
Non, je veux que vous m'aidiez tout de suite, vous aviez dit comme Ladybug. Non, j'ai déjà tout dit et ça ne change rien, je ne reviendrai jamais.
Damn. I actually felt every emotion in that. Kudos to the voice actor who's voicing Aglaé, because I felt that to my core. What I really like about this scene is that it tackles what people think therapy is. Therapy is not magic. Therapy isn't going to magically remove all of your trauma. Therapy isn't a one-day thing where like you go, you come back, you're healed, done, cool. No, therapy is only 10% of the work. The rest is up to you. And a lot of people, when they hear this, get put off by therapy because nobody wants to do the work, okay? let's be honest, even I don't want to do the work. It's just something you kind of have to do. But it's not even just about not wanting to do the work. It's about being afraid to do the work. Because to go to therapy every single week, there's a possibility that you're going to unpack a lot of deep-rooted trauma that you probably didn't even know existed. And that is very scary. Confronting things that your mind has buried is very, very scary. And you're at your most vulnerable in therapy. Once you unpack those things, you can't put them back in the box. And unfortunately, which a lot of people don't like to hear, but I'm going to have to say it, healing isn't a destination. Healing is a journey.
Bonjour, pardonnez mon intrusion.
J'ai ressenti une forme de frustration chez vous.
Vous vous sentez coupable de ne pas avoir pu l'aider?
Non, sortez tout de suite de ma tête. Vous cherchez à utiliser mes émotions pour me manipuler, mais je ne vous aiderai pas à faire...
N'aimeriez-vous pas avoir une solution magique pour guérir les gens, par exemple?
Non, les solutions magiques, ça n'existe pas.
C'est pourtant ce que fait Ladybug, n'est-ce pas? Tout réparer d'un coup de son yo-yo magique. Vous hésitez? Vous avez peut-être raison, il faut laisser les gens trouver leur propre chemin. Et tant pis s'ils souffrent pendant des mois, voire des années.
I can't even say, Lila, I wasn't familiar with your game, because I was familiar with your game. We've been familiar with your game. Even a therapist. I mean, I'm not going to act like therapists are superhumans. They're not. They're human as well. But even a therapist is not exempt from manipulation. I like that. I thought that Ugly was going to get akumatized in this episode, but it was the therapist, and I think that was a smart writing choice.
Maintenant, je peux te guérir instantanément comme tu le voulais. Vous avez été traumatisé.
Qu'est-ce que tu fabriques?
Je vais essayer d'aider Adley. Mais promis, je prendrai pas de risque.
What sends me is that Marinette just finds random bicycles and just takes them. He's technically committed bike theft on numerous occasions.
Oh, voilà qui est signifiant. Tu as bel et bien une phobie des insectes. Et plus spécifiquement de ces affreux papillons. Mais je vais arranger ça pour toi.
Not her giving her a lobotomy. She's straight up lobotomizing her. Did she just use the windshield and just wiped Polymouse away? Why is that so funny to me? Oh my gosh.
C'est l'heure du bain. Amélioration. Assistante, Malédie.
Chat noir.
We are tired. You know what? It's been a great episode so far, so I'm not even going to bother complain. I'm just going to accept what I'm given.
Voyons de quoi tu as peur, le chat. Oh, bien sûr. Révéler ton identité secrète. Voilà qui est signifiant. Au travail, je te libère du mal.
I'm not entirely convinced that Cat Noir's biggest fear is revealing his secret identity. I'm not convinced on that. It's because I think he's always been very adamant from the very beginning. Like, he wanted to reveal his identity. And if he had his way, he would have by now. I get it, like, as Adrien, his biggest fear is going to be different to him as Cat Noir. I understand that. I completely do. I do think they could have tried to find a fear that's more in line with Cat Noir, if that makes sense. If anything, I feel like Cat Noir's biggest fear would be accidentally destroying everything. If I'm not mistaken, because it's been a while since I've watched season 5 and I don't plan on rewatching it, but in the episode Representation, he kept seeing visions of, not Cat Blanc, but it was like a version of Cat Blanc. It was revealed that his biggest fear or nightmare was accidentally destroying everything, including Ladybug. So maybe they could have done that rather than like try and convince us that his biggest fear is his identity being revealed. I don't know, but that could just be me. Let me know what you guys think.
Et voilà, tu es maintenant libérée du mal et de...
Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? Je ne fais que vous aider. Tout va bien, psy-conductrice.
Je l'ai privé de ses pouvoirs, il est à votre merci. Prenez son miraculous.
What exactly is this? I know it's an anti-Kuma, and we saw the anti-Kuma in Daddy Cop, if I'm not mistaken. But I would have preferred if we saw like how Lila created this, because this is just some random power that she's just randomly figured out. It's kind of plot armor if you really think about it. Like, Lila has a bit of plot armor which I don't know if that's a good thing for an antagonist, but like when the hell did all of these like anti-Kuma things like exist? Like what? And it's the fact that they started treating it like the characters are like, oh, this is an anti-Kuma. But how do you guys know what it is if you've never seen it before? Like Hawkmoth has never used an anti-Kuma. I don't know, like, do you get what I'm trying to say? That it's like something happened off screen and the audience isn't aware of this like development. And I do think anti-Kumas are very, very important if it ups the stakes of the episode.
Tu finiras bien par me révéler ton secret, Ladybug.
Okay, Lila, I love you to bits. But please let's not have a repeat of Gabriel Agreste. Like, you know, at the end of every episode in Arc 1 where Gabriel will be like, soon I'll get your miraculous, and I'll be the one laughing, ha, blah, 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 whatever. Like, shut up, okay? I don't want that again. I just don't want any, like, repetition. Lila, just show us what you look like, okay? I'm tired of this, like, creepiness, okay? Just give us a face reveal. Give us something, okay? Give us something.
Je suis désolée, c'est ma faute si vous avez été akumatisé.
Bien sûr que non, Aglaé. J'ai laissé mes émotions négatives me submerger. Et puis, tout cela est derrière nous.
Mais j'ai toujours peur.
La peur, ça peut être une bonne chose. Ça nous invite à être prudents, à ne pas nous mettre en danger. Mais dans ton cas, la peur des insectes est devenue une phobie qui t'empêche de vivre sereine.
I like that a lot. Fear can be a good thing because fear allows us to prevent ourselves from getting into danger. That's true. That's very true. But there's always a line to cross. And when we cross that line, fear ends up being a bad thing. In Aglaé's case, fear isn't preventing her only from danger, but it's also preventing her from enjoying life. So I really do like how she emphasized that having negative emotions can be good. That's sort of like a contradiction or a oxymoron. But when those negative emotions control your decisions and dictate your life, that's when we're stepping into dangerous territory.
Avance aussi loin que tu veux et arrête quand tu en as envie. D'accord?
Est-ce que tu veux qu'on sorte de la serre? Oui.
C'est un excellent début, Aglaé. Et tu sais que quel que soit le temps que ça prendra, tu n'avanceras pas seul sur le chemin. Tu as trouvé un merveilleux véhicule. L'amitié.
That's so sweet. No, I love this episode so much. I'm not gonna cry. The last thing I need is to lose aura by crying on the internet. I'm not gonna cry, but my eyes are tearing up. I love how supportive her friends are, and no, I love this episode so much. I also love how even though Aglaé didn't get far into the butterfly house, that's still far enough. Any step, even if it's the littlest step, is still a major step. Also wanted to mention that the therapist is the only adult character, apart from like Sabine and Tom, that isn't a bum. Almost every adult in Miraculous Ladybug sucks, okay? They're just terrible people. We've got Vincent, we've got, what's that fuck-ass male? What's his name? Or former male. What's his name? Andre Bourgeois. And then we've got the other Andre that's crying about kids not being in love or whatever. What else? Who else? Like, there's so many adults in Miraculous that have failed the kids in the show. But this one therapist, she's made a stand out of me. This is who Miss Bustier thinks she is. Or who the writers tried to convince us Miss Bustier is. And I hate Miss Bustier. Not that she was ever involved in this episode. I just wanted to drag her. But this is who Miss Bustier thinks she is. This is the adult the kids need in their life. Not whatever the fuck Miss Bustier and Miss Mendeleev or the other, like, adults in the show are doing. Please.
Merci de m'avoir accompagné et de comprendre que j'ai besoin de parler au docteur Psycha.
C'est normal.
Adrien Agreste?
Oh, Adrien finally going to therapy. About time. Sorry, that was so mean. No, but on a real note, like, it's actually about time that boy goes to therapy. It's never too late to go on your healing journey. It's never too late. But, like, about time. Marinette was initially very protective of Adrien. And it goes back to my point of characters within the show and within the fandom as well, infantilizing Adrien. When you love someone, you tend to want to, like, baby them. So I'm glad she is, you know, letting him kind of do this for himself and take the step he needs to healing.
Alors, de quoi as-tu besoin de me parler, Adrien?
Je trouve qu'il y a quelque chose de bizarre au sujet de mon père.
Mark my words, Adrien going to therapy every single week. By the way, that therapist pocket is gonna Dollar bills, y'all. That therapist pocket is going to be fat. Her bank account is looking fat and shapeless. Like Adrien Agreste going to therapy? Oh, okay, you're set for life, therapist. Of course, I know that's not the point of therapy. But guys, therapy is expensive. I would know because I used to go. So this therapist, she's set for life, especially if it's from Adrien Agreste. Bonus point if Marinette starts going to therapy as well, because oh, there's so much to unpack with that girl. Jokes aside though, Adrien going to therapy is probably going to set him on the path of figuring out the truth about his father. Remember how I mentioned in my Mr. Agreste analysis video that I think Adrien is going to figure it out before anybody else has the chance to reveal it. And I think that's the most devastating outcome that could possibly happen. The more Adrien goes to therapy and talks about his feelings and start to really think and analyze Gabriel's behavior and Gabriel's treatment towards him, the more he's going to put two and two together and be like, that was very strange of Gabriel to do. Gabriel Agreste could not possibly be a hero. He's going to figure out the truth. And when that happens, I'm going to be seated. I'm seated for the drama. Absolute cinema. And honestly, even though I said Adrien figuring out the truth for himself is probably the most devastating outcome, I think narratively that's probably the best outcome. Because we would all expect like maybe Lila will reveal the truth to Adrien. But is that the most satisfying outcome? No, I don't think so. I think it would be a lot better narratively and it will hit a lot more emotionally if Adrien finds out the truth, because it just shows how far he's come. We all joke about and claim that Adrien is blind, etc. Well, not me, because I never said that. But I think him figuring it out for himself will just show he's taking control over his own story. So that was the episode Wreckless Driver. Out of 10, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. Which just proves that you can have episodes on side characters and Adrien and Marinette could sort of like take the backseat and the episode could still be a banger. This episode was great. I loved the dialogue. I loved the subtext. I loved the message behind it. I loved everything about this episode. So that was my reaction to Wreckless Driver. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction as much as I enjoyed reacting to the episode. But now I want to put it to you guys. What did you think of the episode Wreckless Driver? Loved it? Hated it? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as for today, that's it from me, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!